In the early 1960s, Sweden's military underwent a significant transformation as it sought to modernize its mechanized forces to meet the evolving threats of the Cold War. At the heart of this effort was the Panzerbandvagn 301, Pbv 301, or Armored Tracked Carrier Vehicle 301, a vehicle that marked Sweden's first foray into the realm of infantry fighting vehicles. Designed as an interim solution to bridge the gap between outdated armored personnel carriers and the more advanced Pbv 302, the Pbv 301 was a pragmatic adaptation of existing technology, reflecting Sweden's resourcefulness and commitment to maintaining a robust defense within the constraints of its neutrality policy. While its service life was brief, the Pbv 301 played a critical role in shaping Sweden's mechanized infantry doctrine and laid the groundwork for future armored vehicle developments. The Pbv 301 emerged from a pressing need to replace the Terringbill M42KP, an open-topped armored personnel carrier that offered limited protection and mobility in the face of modern threats, including nuclear, biological, and chemical warfare. By the late 1950s, Sweden recognized that its mechanized infantry required a vehicle capable of transporting troops safely while providing direct fire support in combat. Rather than developing an entirely new platform, the Swedish Army opted for a cost-effective solution, repurposing the chassis of the obsolete Stridsvagn M41, a licensed version of the Czech TNH LT VZ38 light tank. Between 1962 and 1963, Hägglund and Söner, now part of BAE Systems Hägglunds, converted 238 STRV M41 chassis into Pbv 301As, producing 185 standard infantry fighting vehicles and 20 Stridsledningspanzerbandvagn 3011 command variants. This approach not only minimized costs, but also leveraged existing resources, allowing Sweden to field a capable IFV in a short time frame. The Pbv 301 was designed to transport a squad of 8 fully equipped Pansarskyttesoldater into battle while providing significant firepower. Its primary armament was a Bofors 20mm L-70 aircraft gun, originally used in the Saab J-21A2 fighter aircraft. Mounted in an oscillating housing above a rotating cupola, this autocannon was fed by 75 round belts, with a total of 450 rounds carried on board. The weapon was highly effective against infantry, lightly armored vehicles, and even low-flying aircraft, giving the Pbv 301 a distinct advantage over many contemporary armored personnel carriers, such as the American M113, which typically mounted a 12.7mm machine gun. Internally, the vehicle also carried mountings for infantry weapons, including an FN mag machine gun and a Carl Gustaf 8.4 cm recoilless rifle with 9 rounds, providing anti-tank capabilities. This combination of armaments made the Pbv 301 a true infantry fighting vehicle, capable of engaging a variety of targets while supporting dismounted troops. The vehicle's design was built around the STRV M41 chassis, which featured welded steel armor and a low profile to enhance concealment in Sweden's rugged terrain. The frontal armor offered protection against small arms fire and shrapnel, but the side and rear armor, at approximately 8mm thick, was notably thinner, leaving the vehicle vulnerable to heavier weapons and flanking attacks. Weighing around 11.9 tons and measuring 4.54 meters in length, the Pbv 301 was powered by a Svenska Flygmotor B44 engine, a converted aircraft engine producing 150 horsepower. This provided a top speed of 45 km/h and a range of 300 km, adequate for defensive operations but limited compared to later designs. The vehicle's torsion bar suspension and 4 large road wheels per side ensured decent off-road mobility, though it lacked amphibious capabilities and NBC protection, reflecting its interim nature. Operationally, the Pbv-301 was crewed by 2 personnel, a driver and a gunner, supported by a troop compartment for 8 soldiers. The commander's cupola featured 6 vision blocks for situational awareness, while the crew had a smaller cupola with 4 vision blocks. 2 roof hatches allowed infantry to fire from within the vehicle, and 2 side-hinged rear doors facilitated rapid dismounting. A large access trap on the lower front glacis simplified maintenance of the transmission, gearbox and fuel tanks, a practical feature for field operations. The Pbv-301's design emphasized defensive operations in Sweden's forested and hilly landscapes, aligning with the country's strategy of territorial defense during the Cold War. However, its lack of a dedicated turret and reliance on a 2-man crew reduced its survivability, as a single penetrating hit could disable critical systems or personnel. Introduced in 1961, the Pbv-301 served as Sweden's primary IFV for less than a decade, as it was quickly overshadowed by the more advanced Pbv-302, which entered service in the late 1960s. The Pbv-302 offered superior armor, amphibious capabilities, and a purpose-built design, addressing many of the Pbv-301's shortcomings. The Pbv-301's short service life was also influenced by Sweden's neutrality, which limited its deployment to training and exercises within the country rather than international operations. Unlike the Pbv-302, which has seen modern use in Ukraine, there is no record of the Pbv-301 being exported or employed in combat, reflecting its role as a domestic stopgap solution. Despite its limitations, the Pbv-301 was a significant step forward for Sweden's mechanized forces. Its 20mm autocannon provided unmatched firepower for an APC of its era, and its low profile and sloped armor enhanced survivability against small arms. The vehicle's development demonstrated Sweden's ability to adapt existing technology to meet immediate needs, a hallmark of its defense industry, led by companies like Hägglund and Söner and Bofors AB. However, the Pbv-301's thin side armor, high reload time for the 20mm cannon, and lack of modern features like NBC protection highlighted its obsolescence by the late 1960s. The reliance on a 2-man crew also posed operational risks, as the loss of either crew member could render the vehicle inoperable. The Pbv-301's legacy lies in its role as a transitional platform that informed the development of the Pbv-302 and subsequent Swedish armored vehicles. It represented an early attempt to integrate infantry transport with direct fire support, a concept that became central to modern IFV designs. The vehicle's use of the STRV M41 chassis underscored Sweden's pragmatic approach to defense, maximizing resources while maintaining a credible deterrent against potential Soviet aggression. Today, the Pbv-301 is a historical artifact, preserved in military museums and remembered as a stepping stone in Sweden's journey toward a modern, mechanized army. In a broader context, the Pbv-301's development reflects the challenges faced by neutral nations during the Cold War, balancing limited budgets with the need for effective defense capabilities. While it never saw combat, its design influenced Sweden's military doctrine, emphasizing mobility, firepower, and terrain adaptability. For researchers or enthusiasts seeking to compare the Pbv-301 to its successors, its specifications, such as its 11.9-ton weight, 45 km/h speed, and 20mm of armament, offer a baseline for understanding the evolution of Swedish IFVs. The Pbv-301 may not have the modern relevance of vehicles like the Pbv-302 or CV90, but it remains a testament to Sweden's innovative spirit and strategic foresight in a tense geopolitical era.